24, his teammate. They don't want the 24 to get around Johnson to lose those points. Jeff Gordon been pretty good all weekend. It has been calm. Not a lot of adjustments today. Been loose and tight. Track bar next stop, Dave.
While the third place car running some 15 seconds behind them, Jeff Gordon is in position to try and make it to the finish with the fuel he has on board. 15 seconds is a long time on a mile-and-a-half racetrack. We wait on Jeff.
It'll certainly bring up a lot of conversation if he should go on and win this race. Of all of those people that thought that he shouldn't even be here, he should be suspended for his actions last week.
Jeff Gordon is the race leader. Jeff has a 2-second lead on Clint Boyer. They are on the similar fuel schedule. So now the question is, do they have enough to make it to the checkered flag and ironically finish 1 and 2? And you see top of the screen at the moment as they run, Boyer has overhauled Jimmy Johnson for second in the championship. That's worth a pretty good chunk of cash at the champion celebration in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks.
You see Gordon has got about a little over 2-second lead, so he can't really just start soft pedaling and try to save fuel. Yeah. He may end up having to race Clint Boyer before this one's over.
Yeah, he may have to. Boyer was in 2 laps before him in that last one, so I'm not sure if Boyer's going to be able to run hard enough, or is he still trying to save enough just to get to the end. But wow, how strange things happen in this sport. 2 competitors that were in a big, literally brawl on the racetrack and off last weekend. And here they are trying to decide who's going to win this last race of the year.
Both coming away from it less than satisfied with the outcome of both the on-track and off-track activities. And now here they are, 1 and 2 in the final laps of this one. And should circumstances turn up, could be side by side for a late restart or nose to tail racing for the checkered flag in the final laps. We'll see.
But if Boyer could get to him, I'd put a lot of money on what would happen from there.
If he could catch him.
If he could get there.
Thinking we'd see a little bump and run?
At the very least.
What a frustrating season it's been for Jeff Gordon. Such high hopes of being one of the people racing for this championship. Coming into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Worked so hard across the summer months to rally to get into the championship by that slimmest of margins over Kyle Busch on the final qualifying night in Richmond, if you will. And then in the very first chase race, had a mechanical problem under the hood of his car that threw him hard into the turn 1 wall at Chicagoland and set them so far back they've never been able to recover.
Yeah, they fought after that, kept fighting and had some good finishes, and then just seemed like problem after problem kept on. But this team has continued to battle, and I think that a sign of a great champion there and a really solid crew behind him.
So Gordon and Boyer racing for the win here. They're 14 seconds ahead of third place Eric Almirola. Do they have enough fuel to the finish? And how does that play out in the final 4 laps? Boyer eating into Gordon's gap little by little each lap around.
Yeah, he's closing it down. If Gordon has to save any fuel at all and Boyer doesn't have to, he might can get to that back bumper.
Brad Keselowski still in 17th position, a lap down after the insurance pit stop. Just working his way through these final laps on his way to a championship. Dale, a story that you can certainly relate to, a local short track racer, the son of a racer, started out knocking around on the same short tracks where his dad did, and trying to follow in the footsteps of an accomplished father in the sport. Never the easiest thing. Finding funding, finding opportunities. And yet this young man has shown that for a local short track racer in this modern day and age of NASCAR, you can still find a way all the way to the top.
Yeah, some of those stories that he was talking about where he'd carry a little briefcase and had his books in there and, to read about chassis. I don't know if I was doing it, but I was certainly around the racetrack a lot with my dad. And you know, just because your father has been successful, there are no guarantees. You have to continue to work hard. And Brad Keselowski has certainly done that. And it's just been fun to watch him come through the Nationwide Series, become a champion there, and then quickly take this Roger Penske team to a championship.
Jeff Gordon has stabilized the lead over Clint Boyer. Boyer slipping back a little bit from where he was a couple of laps ago. Do they have enough fuel to make the final 3 miles here at Homestead and get to the checkered flag 1 and 2?
I'm sure as Boyer came in here, though, he really wasn't thinking about it. He knew he was in a battle for the 3rd spot. All of a sudden, the doors open for him to finish 2nd in the points.
With all they've accomplished, almost unfathomable that Hendrick Motorsports has never won at this Homestead Miami Speedway. They are 1 lap away as the captain has showed up in his team's pit down from the top of the tower for the final lap. Jeff Gordon leading the race. Brad Keselowski in charge of the championship. After what has been, it's fair to say, one of the more tumultuous weeks of his storied NASCAR Sprint Cup career, checkered flag, and a win at Homestead for Jeff Gordon.
I'm proud of you guys. That was awesome.
Well, the most overshadowed victory of the season is the win in the last race while the champion's recognized, but Jeff Gordon is going to end this season in victory lane. We go there presented by Tire Rack.
Underrated victory and overshadowed by the championship, but for this it's big for Jeff Gordon. You proved last week you're a fighter and you won't give up. Jeff, what does it mean to end the season in victory lane?
Oh my God, it means so much. I mean, this is for DuPont right here. 20 years. That is a long time to be together with a sponsor. For them to commemorate that with this awesome paint scheme with this silver car means so much. I knew we had a great race car going into the race. And, you know, at times I didn't think we had a winning car, but you know what? We played the strategy perfectly, and we had a really good car. And, you know, it's just unbelievable to experience this, you know, after last week, you know, and then to come here and battle like this and end up in victory lane is just unreal. So I got to thank Drive Den Hunger, DuPont, Pepsi, Quaker State, Chevrolet, you know, everybody that makes this team is just awesome. I love Alan Gustafson. This is a great way for us to end this season. I know it's about the championship, so turn it over to the champion.
Well, Jeff, hold on. There was a lot in the news this week, of course, regarding you. And then, of course, you and Clint Boyer end the race as his kids come into victory lane. You two battling at the end. Jeff, is this just redemption after what happened last week?
Can you believe that? You know, I mean, there was one restart where I had Joey and maybe even Eric and Clint right there surrounding me. And, you know, we, you know, that thing is gonna work itself out some way through racing. And, you know, I felt terrible about how I went about it. And I still regret the way I went about it. And you know what? But I can't take it back. What we can do is look forward and race guys as hard and clean as we possibly can. And, you know, this is a great way to get some positive things going, because this year's been real up and down. So this is awesome to be able to have my family here in victory lane. Got to thank Sprint, all the fans. What an amazing, you know, turnout this has been for this final race and the championship battle. And I got to take my hat out to Jimmy Johnson and that team too. They did an excellent job battling for this championship. I know they didn't win it, but you know what? They were up against somebody really incredible, you know, and Brad, they did an excellent job, Paul Wolf, and I got to say congratulations to Roger Penske on his first championship. That I know how much that means to Roger being in the sport as long as he has.
Let's go back upstairs to Alan.